Hello, disc golf friends, Matt here. And I did something that many people would consider to be ill-advised, and that is I asked Twitter a question, actually a series of questions about how to build the perfect disc golf bag. So I sent out a list of slots to build a bag, and I'll walk you through what you guys on Twitter ended up picking out for me to play around with at the beautiful Etowah Disc Golf Course. Putting putters, we have the AVR. Mine's R Pro AVR. Throwing putters, you guys picked the Envy. I brought along Electron Soft as well as the Eagle McMahon Reborn Envy. Really nice throwing putter combo there. For overstable approach, you guys picked the Discraft Zone. I've got a nice shimmery Z zone here. For stable mid-range, you guys, oh my goodness, bleeding a little bit. That's fun. The Hex from Axiom Disc. I've got a Neutron Soft and a Fission Hex here. Overstable mid, you guys picked the Pyro. I've got one of the original Prism Plasma Pyros. Say that 5 times fast. And looking forward to throwing that one. I think there's a lot of shots out there that'll be beneficial for. For the stable fairway slot, you guys picked the Crave. Mine is an Eclipse Rim Gyropalooza Crave with a Skullboy stamp. Picked that one up at Play It Again a couple weeks ago for like $8, so good find, good timing. For overstable fairway, you guys picked the Firebird. I'm packing 3. I've got my FAF, Flat AF Firebird. It's the Opaque Champ Super Flat from 2012. That one's a beef monster. I've got the USDGC 2022 one in this kind of blood red purple color. I'm thinking it'll be a little less stable. And then I've got this old PFN Star one that is really beat up, and I think I'm going to use that for some backhands probably. For backhand bomber driver, you guys picked the Wraith. I've got a Garrett Girthy Halo Wraith that I'll be packing along. May end up throwing that some forehands too. It's fairly stable. I also brought along, you see behind me here, the pink Champ Wraith and that Paul Macbeth 4-time Destroyer, because the Destroyer is the overstable driver you guys picked. I also brought along a G-Star Destroyer and this kind of failed attempt at a Heart Pirates Star Destroyer here. The final disc you guys pick is the utility slot. I had all kinds of good picks in there. I had, fingers crossed, you're going to pick my Stegos for me to keep, but you said no, and I've got to bring along this glitch. So that is my bag. Let's see how we did. Okay, starting off hole 1, I'm going to try the Fission Hex here. It's about 280 feet, slight downhill. Give it a little bit of a flex, and it actually goes past the basket there on the left side. In the circle, but putting around this tree and just barely missed that one. So starting off with a par. Going Envy on hole 2 here. It's about 220. A little bit of a loopy shot there. Got it too high and have to tap in for another par. Missed about a 40-footer there. Going with the G-Star Destroyer off the tee on number 3. It's 575. So I'm going to the Firebird here on a forehand for the layup. And it's actually probably too overstable. Should have gone Pyro, but I blow past the basket. Have to pitch up and take a par on this one also. But getting a feel for the disc and going on the famous cave hole here, back to the Fission Hex, just to the left of the basket there, and it slides down right below it, but I've still got a pretty easy putt. Trying out the AVR there in the R Pro Plastic, giving a real test. This is hole 5 with the Crave, and it actually skips up in the circle on that difficult hole and get my second birdie in a row there. That's a hard hole. It's probably the one I birdie the least out there. Going with a nice high shot with the Firebird there. Dumping out to the right side. I'm on the edge of the circle, probably like right at 30 feet. AVR does good, so I got my turkey. Trying the Pyro on this one. This is a tricky hole. I'm not really going for it, just kind of giving a half run through the middle. In circle 2 and just a little bit short on that one. Going with Envy up the hill on number 8 here. It's in the long position. And got about a just short of 30-foot putt in the high 20s and was able to convert that one. That's a scary one. If you roll away, you're back down at the bottom. Going Envy again on hole 9. Sticking it right there near the pin. And I'll actually use the glitch to tap this one in to make sure it gets used this round. Back to the Crave on hole 10. It's a tunnel shot. You can either take the right or left gap. I'm going right gap. Slight hyzer and it rides up there, pin high, little tap in. Envy again on hole 11. It's downhill, going a little thumber. And it does what I wanted to, but gets hung up behind this tree here. So I'm at like 32 feet. Got to climb up and really awkward footing there. Very hard to contend with, trying to pitch it in and just missed a little bit left there. Didn't quite give it what I needed, but I didn't fall on the way down, so I'll count that one as a win. Now over on hole 12, going with the Wraith, and didn't get it quite as wide as I would like to. It was a little bit more overstable. Had to pitch up and take par there. On 13, trying the AVR because I thought it would hold a turnover, and it went really straight. So I got about a 35-footer, but the R-Pro was nice to me and sat down after hitting the cage and managed to get a par. Going with that USDGC Firebird on 14, it hits the tunnel great, checks up right in front of the basket, where I was able to pick up and tap in from about 6 feet. Going back to the Wraith on 15, get it wide around the pole and get the road skip. This one's just a little bit more stable than I was hoping it would be. I'm inside circle 2, but right at like 50 feet. And hit cage again. I feel like hitting cage has been a little bit of a theme for me today, unfortunately, but still a lot of good holes. Going with the Firebird there, that Star Firebird. It actually gets me in a good position. I missed the initial shot. You see the AVR sitting there, but I did the exact same thing with the Firebird, so tapping in for a par. Going back to the Crave on 17. It's a big hyzer over the road, and it holds beautifully. It was a great line. Very impressed with the Crave this round. And I got about a 10-foot putt there, just a little pitch up and tap in. Going to the Wraith on this one, it's a pretty soft par 4 at 404 feet. I got a little bit high. Floats up and knocks those branches, so I still got about 150 to go. I was hoping to have an eagle look, but a little bit longer. Going to that Envy and still managed to cash it out, which is really, really great. Over to hole 19. Unfortunately, that was the last one I got. My camera died after this one, so I ended up only getting 19 of the 20 holes, but piped that FAF Firebird right through the gap and was able to tap that one in. Really fun round out there, and I got a par on hole 20. All right, so you guys did a good job. I had to throw some holes a little bit differently than I'm used to, but overall, I really enjoyed the bag. They're all solid discs. And one thing I learned is Twitter loves MVP and they love Innova. Only one disc out there, the Zone, was something other than those brands. And, you know, they both make a lot of good discs, and I own a lot of those discs. So good picks there. I'll run you down how I felt about each of them real quick. The glitch, I didn't really use it. Sorry, guys. Every time I picked it up to throw, I thought, well, that rim's a little thin. I don't really like the bead. I think it might float too much for this shot. And then after thinking of all of my objections to it, it basically came down to, I wish it was an Envy. I want to be throwing an Envy, so I'll just throw the Envy. And it was great. Envy's awesome. Talk about the Destroyers real quick. I only ended up throwing it the one time on hole 3, and I threw the G-Star one. It was very nice. Got me where I needed to go, where I had a nice layup for what should have been a birdie, but my second shot wasn't that good. The Wraith, I threw a couple times. It is nicely stable, controllable, but it's got good glide, a little dome on those Garrett girthy ones. And, you know, a Wraith and Wraiths are pretty awesome. So if you like that slot, I would recommend it. For Firebirds, I threw some great shots with these guys today, and I love Firebirds. If they were all like this, that super firm, opaque champ from back in the day, I may still throw Firebirds. But the thing is, you're getting a lot of these days. Pretty domey, got a little pop top to it. I did get a birdie with this one on 14 because I liked the way it drifted, but if they were like the old ones, I might still throw them instead of the flares I got in the bag. And I did enjoy this one on, I think it was hole 16. It did the job well, I just missed the putt. The Crave, I haven't thrown a Crave in years. I used to have a couple of the really old patent pending Proton ones. I really liked them. This is awesome. I birdied two of the harder holes on the course with it, 5 and 10. 10, I do birdie a decent amount with a T-bird there. 5, I don't. That's my least birdied hole on that course. I think I've got maybe 5 or 6 birdies there. That impressed me. And the amount of glide it has with the forward penetration for a slowish disc, very impressive. I understand why people like this one a lot. The Pyro I actually threw a little bit less than I thought I was going to. It was really nice the time I used it and got me where I needed to go, but I do kind of wish it was a little more stable, like deflector stable, and I probably would have thrown it a little bit more. The Hex is a disc that I've thrown a little bit. I've thrown this one more, the 178 Neutron Soft, and I liked it okay. I think I said I liked it better than the Buzz when I compared it to the Buzz in another video. But this one, though, is also 178, but it's a Fission. This is a monster. It went past the basket on one on a backhand, which is a line I never throw. I always throw forehand there. But I thought this had the juice for it, and it definitely did. Hole 4 got me that birdie. Honestly, this is a really good disc. I don't know why I didn't try it sooner. You know, it's got the Fly Right stamp, my sponsor, that is unfortunately closing this week. Love you, Nolan, if you watch this. But great guys, really good disc. And the Zone is a Zone. Great disc. I didn't find a lot of places to use it on this particular round, but you can't go wrong with the Zone. The Envy was one of the stars of the show. Every time I threw one of these, it seemed to go really well. Got me birdies on, was it hole 8 and 9 as well. Can't say enough good things about these discs. I actually had one more that I brought along as well. You might have seen it, this pink and purple, but it's still in the car. I forgot to grab it. It's in my normal bag too. And then the AVR, it's an AVR, man. It's a classic putter. There's a reason so many people like these things. I did make some good putts with it. The one time I threw it off the tee, I thought it was going to be a little less stable than it was, but it got me a putt that I missed. But still, really good round. Scored really well out there. If I scored that well out there all the time, I'd be a very happy dude. You know, that puts you at a 970 to 985 rating all the time. So would be quite happy with that. Thank you guys for tuning in. And on hole 20, the one that where my phone cut out, I it's an island hole. I made the island, missed the putt, so it's just a par. The score holds up fine. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for picking the disc, and have a good one.